to the sky. Never let adventures pass you by. Be free and follow your crazy dreams. We're living our vision in the RV. Come ride with us and you'll be free.
Well, it is the end of the day. We stayed here at Cracker Barrel all day, and we did not go in and get breakfast. We did not go in and get a coffee, and we are planning on going up the road to Buc-ee's because there's a Buc-ee's close. So we're feeling really bad, so we got to think of something that we can buy here, and we remembered. It's almost Easter, and we saw a bunch of really, basically things we haven't seen at Walmart. That every time we've been going into Cracker Barrel lately, we're like, we need to get this for our grandkids. So that's what we're gonna do.
Goodie sack.
Got our grandkids some Easter candy. We were here that first night, then we went to the bed and breakfast, and then we came back and we noticed a lot of the same vans, RVs, staying here. And the two Travados that were beside us last night when we pulled in, they left this morning and then they came back this afternoon, and they're parked over here. So if you're gonna come to St. Augustine and you need a place to stay with your RV, apparently this Cracker Barrel doesn't care if you stay multiple nights. There are a lot of people that stay in their RVs here. So this would be a decent spot, and it's about, I can't remember, was it 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Downtown?
About 15.
To the main area?
Yeah.
To A1A Beachfront Avenue. Even Siri gets excited when we go to Buc-ee's. Have you ever noticed?
No.
Well, listen to her.
Starting route to Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's!
That's hilarious.
Proceed to the route.
Yeah, she's in a hurry. Buc-ee's, and how convenient. We got Costco right over there. You didn't even notice that?
I didn't even see it across it.
Easter's Buc-ee. That's hilarious.
They always have the best restrooms.
Best or just the biggest?
Both.
Oh, okay. These aren't any healthier, but oh my gosh, I love these. Gotta have them. She's got a cart. That's not good. This is not good. Not good. Good, but not good. A little over $1 a gallon off just up the road. Buc-ee's has it even cheaper without the TSD card at $3.59. It was $3.67 with the TSD card up the road.
That is crazy.
So keep an eye on that. We also use Gas Buddy along with the TSD because sometimes Gas Buddy you can get fuel in some places cheaper, especially if you're checking TSD. You're usually checking close to the interstates where the truckers pull in to fuel up. So if you got a smaller rig like we do, you can get into some of these smaller places, and a lot of the times, most of the time, it's cheaper there. But if you're clear out in the middle of nowhere, out on the interstate, and you need fuel, then you have to use your TSD if you're needing fuel. If you're nowhere close to a little town or city. We're gonna go to Costco, and we're gonna head up to our next stop. Salad. Kevin's meal. Chomp sticks. cheese. Gotta try the banana bread, it's good. Keto bars. Catalina Keto Crunch. And Rosie. We had to run in and get groceries and ran down here to a UPS. Had to mail our grandkids their Easter stuff, and Michelle's siblings the mugs. They should have it by the time they see this, from the Westcott
Bed and breakfast house.
bed and breakfast. Sorry, my mind is scattered. This is Thursday, and I'm usually uploading the video to YouTube and on by now, and then I'm doing all the stuff for YouTube tomorrow, and I'm not ready for that yet, and I'm freaking out because we usually have a video in the bank, but we don't. I'm working on the one going out here Saturday morning. Just gotta edit, finish it, watch it all over again, make sure everything's okay. A lot of times it isn't.
Turn
Always
left onto
something
Bartram
that I
Park
have to
Boulevard.
correct, and then throw Siri out the window.
Exactly. She's so annoying.
So we're heading towards downtown Jacksonville because it's Thursday, and we still want to see if there's something that we're going to do here in Jacksonville. We don't know if we are for sure or not. We haven't had time to research and see if there's anything we want to do here. Cracker Dock, and we go.
I'm ready to get my barrel on.
Hey Siri, what's the temperature? It says it's 69 degrees outside. Let's get some grub. We don't know where we go. We don't know where we go. Besides eating.
TGIF. It's been a long, busy week. Curb check.
Curb check? What?
Curb check.
No?
Yes, you cleared it like this.
Right. So then no curb check. We're gonna go find a place to dump our tanks and probably get some fresh. We don't really need fresh water yet. The tanks, the black is at like 50%. This is what? This is Friday. We've gone, what? 5 days now. The black's at 50%, and the gray is at like, I don't know what it is, probably close to 70 now.
But the fresh is also down to 40, so we do kind of need to fill that up.
So you're supposed to go inside and prepay first. Usually a lot of these will have a lock or a machine that you actually pay for, and then it unlocks it. So you usually have to go inside and prepay. But this one doesn't have a lock on it, so we're just gonna go ahead and dump and then go inside. This Love's sits just north, on the north edge of Jacksonville, and it's the only one that we found that has a dump station close. We could have went to an RV park. There's Catherine Abbey. I believe it's a city park down by the beach. We could have went there. Try to empty as much of that water as you can. The valve so it doesn't leak on you. Make sure you pull this out so you don't forget it.
And you're gonna go fill
I'm just gonna go find the
fresh.
fresh water fill here.
Okay.
They're usually at the fuel pumps. There's one right there. little drive we did last night to come to the north end of Jacksonville, Florida. Charged our batteries back up, and then we had the air running last night and put them back down to about 67. Had quite a few RVs staying here at this Cracker Barrel on the north far end of Jacksonville, right by the interstate here. Got a Class A over here. You feel very safe here. There's a mall here. We had one of our followers tell us about a place called Pie Heaven. It's in Jacksonville. It's actually in a suburb called Atlantic Beach. We sat down and we were reading about this pie place, and she had a story on her website. So we're going to go into Cracker Barrel first here and have some coffee, eat a little breakfast, and we're going to see if we can't get her to share her story. Michelle wants a little privacy. We just open up this drawer here and rest the door right on that handle, or rest it right there too. And if you have like the blinds open during the day, a lot of lighting coming inside, then you're afraid somebody can see if you're back here dressing or whatever, you can just put the door like that. We are heading to Pie Heaven. Everywhere there's pie, Michelle is in heaven.
That's true. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Yes, ma'am.
I was never the kind of person who wanted to get in the kitchen and fool around. It's just not my DNA. I spent 25 years in the insurance world. I also fell madly in love with Jesus when I was in my 20s, and found that my favorite hobby, weird as it sounds, is to go to a prayer meeting. One night at a prayer meeting, I had this amazing, I don't know what you call it, I'm sure there's a theophany, I think that's the technical word, where you have an encounter that's like a vision, only you're kind of more into it than just seeing. And I knew I was right here in the room, but I also knew I was seeing something like I was also there. I don't know how to explain that. It was very cool. And I knew that I was being like shown, or actually taken to a little visit, if you will, in the throne room of God. And I thought, well, I could just stay here forever. This is wonderful. And as soon as I realized where I was immediately taken into these giant doors, and as far as you could see were children who looked so gorgeous. They looked like, have you seen the movie The King and I? With all the little kids, they were so dressed up, and they were just beautiful, rosy-cheeked, happy kids, as far as you could see. And I heard this big booming voice, and I'm not sure if it was God the Father, an angel, but I heard this big booming voice said, all of these children here died of starvation. You feed the children and remember Schindler. And it was just, okay, all right, I'll do that. And I didn't think he was telling me to go on the mission field. My husband and I have been to Brazil several times. He's got passion for kids. I can barely put up with 2 5-year-olds in a room. So, it just didn't make sense that he was saying for me to do this. I kind of thought, if God wants something done with children, he'd tell my husband. But he was telling this to me. And so I kind of thought, well.
So you knew your husband couldn't cook? Is that what you...
Yeah, there's that. And he'll give away the farm. He's every time he leaves for Brazil, he comes back with not even a suitcase. He's just a giver. But I knew this was something the Lord was telling me to do. And it didn't have anything to do with pie yet. So I just started immediately just giving as much money as I could to a missionary who I personally know of as being boots on the ground in the worst parts of the world, that makes Mother Teresa look lazy. This woman, she's like in the thick of it with her husband. They look and go, okay, something awful's going on here. We'll be the first ones there and the last ones to leave. And they don't just go and do humanitarian aid. They go and they preach the gospel of Jesus. But they also take care of every kind of human need you can imagine. they've had outposts in Sudan during the heat of the Civil War when they were taking these children hostages and making them into soldiers and every other heinous thing you can imagine. And they would bring these kids into homes and raise them. And they would never call them orphans. They would say, this is your new home. And, you know, I just learned of her story. And her name is Heidi Baker. Their organization is Iris Global. So I just started sending as much money as I could come up with in my paycheck as an insurance underwriter to them. And fast forward, if you're in the insurance business, you will get laid off. Your business, your company will, you know, change hands. It's just the way big organizations do. And so I kind of knew this was going to happen. And so I started socking away as much money as I could in my 401k and all that other stuff. Just, you know, for the day that came. And sure enough, I was laid off, and so I'm spending 2 years, because I'm not that bright, walking on the beach talking to God saying, I know I need a business because I know what you told me to do. I figure, you know, if I own the business, then the limit is on me, not on a paycheck.
Right.
And so food was not on my radar. I don't cook for my husband. The poor man is as skinny as a beanpole. And, you know, I mean, I'm not really that hospitable, you know, I just didn't make sense. And I know people who were in the food business, and I thought, that was off my radar, really. To get engaged in this kind of industry, I thought for sure in the back of my head, that's the way to have no money and very little respect, you know, because, you know, people look at the food industry as the low man on the totem pole. Well, God had a different idea apparently, because I started craving pie while I'm having these conversations with the Lord. I'm trying to talk God into getting somebody, this is me talking to the Lord. Listen, I know that you need to show me a business, but while we're having this conversation, seriously, I was praying this way, it's stupid as it sounds. You know, I know you have somebody who loves to bake, and they're gifted. They need to open a pie shop here, because I said, Lord, I've Googled it. There's like not a pie shop for 200 miles, and this needs to be fixed. This is a problem for you to fix. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't put that on him.
Because he'll put it back on you. He'll be like, baby doll, it's your idea. So anyway, I was, you know, because I'm, you know, it was so far off my radar that it took me, I'm not kidding, 2 years. I would walk on the beach every single day, living off of my, you know, savings and all that stuff, and telling the Lord the same story. And in the meantime, all of these people are coming up to me occasionally and saying the funniest things. I just see you helping, blessing people through baking, and I would go like, what? No.
And you didn't even know him?
No, yes, strangers would say stuff like that to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was bizarre. Because, you know, when God's trying to get you to do something. So anyway, fast forward, I finally kind of connected the dots. I was like, okay, I guess we'll maybe pursue that. So I had to teach myself how to make a pie. I did. I Googled it.
Oh my gosh.
And you can learn anything, you know, with YouTube. Who knew? YouTube videos, how to make pie crust. I did. So I taught myself how to do all that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And I just started baking and selling it to my friends. You know, I've got some friends who have businesses, and they would, you know, give them as corporate gifts. And I was like, yeah, I kind of like this. Hey, I kind of like this. But my husband didn't really appreciate me taking over the kitchen, so he kind of put the kibosh on that after the first big order. He was like, yeah, go back to work. So I went back to work for a little while, and, you know, long enough for him to get an epiphany. In the middle of the night, he comes in and goes like Superman. Look, I really love what I do, and it's obvious that you don't, because I was back in the insurance business, you know. And why don't you just do what you love? And I was like, okay, gonna start a pie shop. He said, okay, just keep me out of it. I said, deal. And so then, you know, by then it got to kind of convince me that, you know, kind of he wanted to do that. Because when I was working in the insurance business, all I could talk about was I wanted to bake pie. Okay, so it obviously was in my craw by then. And then I just started having these conversations with, okay, Lord, you know, I don't wake up in the morning. Everybody knows that if you're going to bake, you've got to be an early riser. Not this girl. I need somebody who can work with me. That's my friend back there. We've traveled on lots of mission trips. And if anybody's a morning person, she is it. And she has all the good personality attributes of my husband without having to put up with his shenanigans. I mean, with himself. He's delightful. But, you know, I mean, she's organized. She's a planner.
Almost forgot this was on camera, didn't you?
She gets stuff done, and she's just awesome. And the cool thing is, she's not here because she's my good friend. She's here because God made her come. I didn't ask her. He pulled her in. And, you know, she's still here. She makes the place run. That's Linda Holfinger. We started looking around and did everything. We learned everything that we needed literally from scratch, not knowing a thing about the food business. And, you know, she had worked for years in catering, things you don't know about your friends, you know, until it's necessary for you to find out. I called her up one day and I said, I'm going to start a pie shop. I'm going to take a ride up to Fernandina to look for a, you know, some equipment. I'm going to start a pie shop. She's like, oh, that's interesting. So, you know, we just hadn't had a girl day for a while, so we drove up there. And by the time we got back, it's like she had a download of stuff I needed to know because she'd been working in catering. And so she emailed me this long list of things for me to do, which she wound up actually taking on herself to take care of, which was cool. A lot of it was stuff I'd researched because, you know, I mean, being in the insurance business, you learn how to read legal stuff, and, you know, I'd wake up and go, okay, God, what do I need to know today that I don't know? Because, you know, when you're starting a business from scratch and you've never done it before, you have no mentor, you have to find a mentor. And I have found out that God is a fantastic mentor. And I didn't realize how good until we'd been in business for about 6 years. And a professor of business at UNF came in, and he said, I just love what you do. I love everything about the place. Tell me everything. And so, and you know, we talked about business and stuff and all of the nuts and bolts of, you know, how we do accounting and how we do costing and all of the stuff that goes with business. He said, I couldn't teach you a thing. I was flabbergasted. And you know, I mean, we're going to be 10 years old in September.
Oh, really?
And,
Wow.
and yeah, I found out why God tricked me. This is a true story, and I will prove it to you when we get to heaven. There was a bunch of grandmas who went to heaven, and I don't know who they are, but they all got together and got to know each other, and they said, you know, one of the things we used to do for our beloved ones was we would make them pie. And we didn't give those recipes to anybody. Nobody in the family's making pie for our darlings. Let's go talk to the Father. So they all sashay in like a lobby, and they told him what they wanted, and said, we want you to get somebody to make pies like we did for our loved ones. And so, yeah, that's how God started to trick me. He's like, I got it. So he starts messing with me, giving me a craving for pie. And I don't know how many people over the past 10 years have come in just really get touched deeply, because what they're eating is exactly what their mother or their grandmother or their wife who has gone on, exactly the same recipe. Wow. And you know, the food is love. When somebody makes you something, you feel the love in it, and they feel the love in it. So even though, you know, our business was created as a tool to give to Iris Global, and every year we've given more and more and more, and we give them more than I pay myself. And all of our profits and then some go to Iris Global, because they are the most diligent people to do the stuff that I've ever met, you know. And there's a lot of locals that come in, the homeless, the drunks, they'll come bobbing in, we'll feed them, you know, and that's always fun to do, you know. I mean, when you do that stuff, it's you get more out of it than the person that you're loving on, you know. And I have this wonderful little grandma named Christine who is here most days. She's taken a couple of days off to recover from a little stumble. But when she's here, hold on to your pocketbooks, because I'm telling you, she'll look at you with those blue eyes. Tell you, honey, you need more pie. We're going to be closed for 2 days. And by the way, what can I pray with you about? Aww. And you know, there have been people that have come in here, because a lot of folks from Mayo will come in, and you know, they've got bandages or something on, you know, and they need more than just pie, and they don't know why they came in here. And God will send them in. So it's it's kind of a pie church, she calls it. It's like, you ain't going to church, but I'm going to take care of you anyway. I got a little grandma to pray for you, you know. And so, anyway, that's the pie shop story.
Key lime or the margarita?
Regular key lime is the classic key lime pie.
Okay.
The margarita key lime has hard liquor.
Wow.
You know, key lime pie is not in the oven very long, so that does not bake out.
Of your pecan, which
The bourbon pecan is the top seller.
I was gonna
of the
say,
three. Yeah.
who can go wrong with bourbon?
I know. I mean, yeah.
French
Thank
press
you.
coffee
Yeah, there you
even.
go.
That's what we use for our coffee.
Why are these people dressed in red? What's
Run
that?
out there and ask them who they're with and what they do.
I'm scared too.
This is the chocolate, the country chocolate.
Yeah, okay, that's right. I was gonna say, where's the pecans? And then we got a pecan, a key lime pie, and a Maine blueberry.
And that's bourbon pecan.
Oh,
I don't want to mess up.
hey.
And the little
Pinwheels.
from leftover pie crust that
right
Oh, you
now.
should try
reminds
one.
me,
Anything. I mean,
my mom used to do that as well.
They used to make those too.
Yeah.
They have gluten-free pie here. Today it's pumpkin.
And it was a whole pie
Yes, it
in
was
the
a whole
freezer.
pie.
So that's.
I could do that.
I don't know what to do with this bill.
Which one do you want to try? The
Let's go for the blueberry.
All right, go for it.
That's definitely sweet, like I remember in Maine. Very good. Are we going to go ahead and just sample a few of the others too? That's dangerous. That's good.
You bring me comfort like nobody can.
I know.
I hear you whisper, life has only just begun.
This is like perfect. The perfect blend. Yeah, that's very good.
'Cause I never lost my faith in you. Every time when I felt you would pull me through. Yes, I never lost my faith in you.
Hey, don't be running off with those pies.
Full of pie and coffee, and those were so good.
Were they? Okay, I was
Yes.
gonna say, you weren't just being nice since we were right in front of her.
No.
That would be hard to rate a pie when the person that made them is right there.
They live up to the hype,
Yeah.
and the rumors that we have heard that they were really good. Very,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
All of them that we tried.
Yeah, a couple of the pies, I had to taste some of the crust just to taste it. It was very good, but the rest of it, I just tasted the filling. And oh my gosh, that key lime.
I've about had enough key lime. You know,
Yeah.
stay here in the winter in Florida. And it's like, by the end of the winter, I'm done with key lime.
I
But
enjoy key lime more than she does.
it was very good because I don't like the real tart kind, and that was a perfect blend. So
Yeah, it
key
was
lime
very,
is
very
definitely
good.
very good. The sweet blueberry good. Who doesn't like a bourbon pecan? Oh man. And then the country chocolate, very good, very good.
Myself, I like the key lime and the bourbon.
Pecan.
Yeah, the bourbon pecan. I'm just thinking of the bourbon. Oh yes, the pecans.
Oh, you're going the wrong way.
These sunglasses aren't working so good. I'm still squinting. We didn't have enough time to do much more in Jacksonville as we had to keep moving along due to other commitments and a scheduled filming coming up soon. So we have to always make the best of our time that we have when we feel rushed and a little pressured to keep driving. We have to keep reminding ourselves how blessed we truly are to be seeing all the things that we are able to see, and that we are healthy enough to be doing this and sharing it with others that are unable to. Every time we do something like this, it makes me think of like when we had the motorhome in the car or the Airstream in the truck, and either we wouldn't get out and do something like this because we didn't want to get sweaty, because we knew we were gonna like either meet somebody for dinner or go out for dinner somewhere nice or whatever, or knew that we had to drive all the way back to the campground to get dressed, or to change or whatever, clean up a little bit, or sometimes we do that, sometimes it was too far. But now it's like we can clean up as soon as we get in.
Yeah.
Having everything with us is just such a big deal. Going to all these different places, you don't have to go there, go back to the campground to sleep. Go to the next place, go all the way back to the campground. You just go, stop somewhere close to stay the night, go to the next spot, stop somewhere close to there, stay the night, just keep going. So not only does this get, a lot better fuel economy, it saves you fuel too because you're doing less driving. So many different things that you don't really think about. We about ready?
Just about. I need the AC back on though, or turn the vehicle on though.
I'll turn this AC on and shoot it back there. Oh, I haven't checked our batteries lately to see what they were at.
We ran the AC.
And we ran the AC while we were down at the beach, that's right. So we drove about 20 minutes. We started out this morning at 67%. And then we drove about 20 minutes down to the pie place. And then this was 2 miles from there, so it wasn't very far at all. And then we ran the AC while we were down at the beach, and we're at 81%. Blast this AC back there.
Yeah, Mama's having a hot flash.
Mama's having a hot flash? Turn the AC down so you can hear me. Any of you men that's been through this already?
I hear you talking.
What?
I hear you talking.
Stand by your woman's side. That's what I was going to finish saying. Wear a helmet.
This is the way.
I forgot to look to see how long we were waiting in line.
It was quite a while.
It had to be over 30 minutes standing there.
I was
It was
gonna
quite a
say
while.
20, but yeah.
It's quite a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully the food's worth it.
Yeah. That's good. I like it.
Really good? Mm-hmm. Shrimp's really good. Small pieces of shrimp, but it's good.
Call it a day and celebrate.
Man, this place is huge.
Call it a day. Let's celebrate. Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day.
Don't
forget to subscribe to our channel, click that little bell, and hit that thumbs up. See you next week.